Welcome to Ryton Pools Country Park. I'm going to take you on a little tour of the route we use here at Big Bear when we come to Ryton Pools Country Park. This was where it all began in 2018, so we've come here lots and lots and lots. For reference, you can see behind me, that's where you come in if you sort of bear left when you do come in. The registration will all be set up on that sort of grassy bank behind me. We try and find the flattest spot to then set up registration, and the aid station is all going to be set up there. But the beauty of here is that you park all along there. So it means that if you want to leave anything in your car, then you can do, and you can get to it on each lap, and your detour is maybe 3 meters. So that is pretty handy. Obviously, if you turn up earlier, you'll get a better parking space. But even if you get a parking space that is in the main car park, which is just the other side of me there, behind those buildings, it's not too far away anyway. In those buildings is the cafe and the toilet block as well, and the visitor centre if you wanted that. And this is where we start. So I'm going to take you on a little route around Ryton Pools Country Park, so you can get a bit of an understanding of what it is like. It is October 15th today, so bear that in mind when it comes to conditions. It's not been that wet, it's not been that dry, it's standard October weather. But yeah, just bear that in mind depending on when your event is with us here. Within about 50 metres of the start, you come past the little railway, the above ground railway. I've lived here for 10 years, I've never seen it going. So it won't be going on event day, but if you're bringing the kids along when you want to come and look at the course before, maybe you can find the lucky day where it is open. The vast majority of the route is like it is behind me here, where it is crushed stone and really, really good condition. I'd suggest maybe 90% of it is like this. Really, really nice. You can get away with road shoes any day of the year. I'm here in ultra low peaks because I always am, but they're not necessary. Even in the bleakest of winters, it's still a road shoe course. They'll just get dirty. As the name would suggest, there's water here at Ryton Pools. You come to the first one just as you, I don't know, about a quarter of a mile in. Really nice big lake. Always loads of birds. Sometimes you get people fishing, but the fisher people are down there. So you don't really have to avoid them or look out for anglers or rods or anything like that. And this is the nice long straight. It's not the quietest. There's quite a busy road next to us there, which might be picking up on the microphone, I'm not sure. But nice long straight, and looks very picturesque, especially in the autumnal weather that I'm running around in today. When you come to these venues, it's very easy just to look straight, but you should always have a little look to the sides. There's some very, very beautiful views around here. It's good underfoot, so you don't have to be looking at every single footstep like you would do if you were running through the middle of woods or something. It's decent underfoot, so you can afford to look around, soak it all in. Half a mile in, you get round the pool that's that side, and there's quite a big playground that you go past as well, so you might see some kids around. If it's a really nice day and it's warm, and if it's the summer when you're here with us, then yeah, there'll be kids. It's quite a popular country park, to be honest, and because there aren't loads of alternative routes to follow, everybody seems to follow the same route, because there's essentially one path that goes all the way around. All the videos so far, you've probably been able to see that the ground conditions are essentially the same everywhere. So it's this sort of crushed stone, you can probably hear under my feet. Really nice and runnable, and it's nice to be amongst the woods and the trees and all of that, but not have to get completely filthy in the middle of winter. But yeah, this is what the course is like pretty much the whole way around. As you get to about the first mile, you start to climb the first little hill, and it's the sort of climb that you genuinely won't notice on lap one, and then by the end of the day you think it's Everest. It's very gradual, lasts about quarter of a mile, but it's the first climbing of any description that you do is about a mile in, and again still on this stony path, sort of the gravelly stony path. So when if you're trying to go fast up it, it is quite a poor surface for sprinting, let's put it like that. But for our 6-hour events, that's rarely an issue for most people, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But there's a definite incline from here, and like I say, if you're just running, like I'm just going to do 1 lap today, I'd probably barely notice it. You'd run up it and, you know, it's nothing much. But when you're here all day, it does start to affect you a little bit. As you come to the top of that little climb, there's another pool behind me there. Again, that's a massive big one. Loads of birds, loads of wildlife. They have a sand martin bank that they put in as well. So you get the right time of year and you get some different cool, quirky birds and wildlife that you might not see on your normal walks and runs. As we come across the top of the course, you come past this, to be honest, quite odd little shelter that is there. And you'll see that again. So the way that this course works is it's effectively a lollipop. So we don't run out in a straight line, but you run the perimeter of the park, and then you sort of loop back round and join back up with the route you've just come along, and then you run back in the same way that you came out. So it's not out and back. You're not running to a cone and then running around it and then coming back home. Right, so it's not as soul destroying as that, because I do find those courses a bit soul destroying. It is, however, a course where you can see people coming past you on the way in and on the way out, which I think is the perfect sort of course, because then you don't get the loneliness of running with people 2 minutes in front of you, 2 minutes behind you, and you feeling like you never see anybody. But you also don't have to just go and run around a dead turn to then come back. And some courses we do that, but I know that that's an extra layer of difficulty for some people doing laps where it is out and back. But this is what, like I say, I refer to as a lollipop. And if you were running on your own and you're not really paying attention, you wouldn't realise that you're going back the same way you came, I don't think. Really, really easy to follow, but it does make it nicer, because like I say, you get to see people a lot more. So if the course feels busier, but there aren't more people on it. So it's a good thing. Once you're around halfway through the course, you start to run through the pirate exhibition. I don't know what it's officially called, but there's loads of pirate stuff for the kids so they can have a little play. Makes for great photos on race day, obviously, but we're effectively back at the start. I don't think I've recorded this at the right time, but behind me over there is where the toilet block is and the cafe and so on. So you sort of circle all the way around, do a little loop, and then circle all the way back to the start. But this section here, again, just be mindful, especially on the first lap where you're a bit more bunched up. There'll be kids, there'll be buggies. There's none here today as I go through, but the chances are that you'll get some. But then you can always play and pretend to be a pirate as you go through, just while you sort of get out of the way for the kids. So just be mindful of that sort of stuff. But it's wide enough here, and everyone's going in the same direction at this point, that it's absolutely fine. You just have to be a bit sensible. And again, as I think I've said, on every one underfoot, we've still got our gravel, which just makes it really, really good running. And once you get to the end of the pirate section, as you can see behind me, you can see the cafe, you can see the visitor centre, and you can effectively see the start line as well as you come out of the pirate section. In this field behind me, I don't think I've seen them in here before, but you do often get sheep, and there are some big black horny ones there, big curly horns, that are clearly waiting for something. And the start is just down that pathway there. But you're not going to go to the start line. Instead, you're going to turn and you're going to go up this punchy little hill. So it's probably, I don't know, 50 meters, if that. But it is a real kick when you've had most of the course be flat. And if you're coming to run with a buggy as well, this is the only section where there's anything that might sort of be an impediment to you, but that is relatively wide. So unless you're coming with a double, like I used to, you'll be fine with a single through there. But this is quite a punchy little hill. So once you've gone through the Pirates and you come up the punchy little hill, we're about 2 miles in now, and then we are back at the slightly odd little cabin that is there. So essentially we've done a big circle and now we're going to go back in the way that we came out. So we're on our way back in now, coming down the hill that I said was a very slight uphill, which does make it perfect for going downhill because that's just the gradient you want. And you can see behind me that San Martin bank as well, and elephants. I can't remember what the elephant story is, but there's an elephant story up here as well. Coming back along these sections that you went out on gives you a chance to sort of explore them in a different way. It sounds crazy, but when you are running the opposite direction, you do spot different things. Ideally, when you're running, you want to try and keep to the left, just because then we don't all run into each other. But it does make you just pick out different things. I guess it's just the way that the mind works. But behind me here, nice big open grassland. Obviously it encourages different animals and rabbits and squirrels and all sorts. It's very, very, very well maintained here. I'm not sure how they manage to do it, but they always have volunteers here working to just keep this place incredibly nice. It's very well managed. It's the improvements in the 10 years that we've been coming here have just been off the chart. Like, it really is very, very different to when we were here for our first event. And 2.5 miles into the lap, you're back around the main pool, the big one that you sort of do a big circle around. You've come up the little hill near the playground, near the big playground. It does feel like a hill on the way up. I probably didn't mention that one as any change on the way out actually, but you do notice it. It's only short again, 20 meters if that, and you're sort of on the home straight really as you start to come around this pool, and you're going back towards the train line and the finish line. You come round the bottom of the pool for the last time. There's an extra car park there. We never use that one. It's quite a walk from the start line, but if you need it, it is there. You see the pool behind me, and then there's a climb that is probably 10 steps, if that. Nice little short one, and then you really are back on the straight that takes you to the finish line. That is the course at Ryton Pools Country Park. So it's a beautiful course here. It's one we've used lots and lots. As I said at the beginning, this is where it all began, the Big Bear Challenge 2018. We tend to return most Februaries. I think we have done every year, even during the COVID times. So we've been here a lot. This will be where the finish line is. It's always a little bit tricky putting up the finish arch, if that's what we've still got when watching this video, just because it goes over the path. And so it's the main path. People get confused about going through a start finish line, which is fair. So it may be that we use flags for that one rather than the finish arch, which just can't really be helped. It's just the way that the land lays here, unfortunately. But if you want to come and run with us here at Ryton Pools Country Park, just outside Coventry, then go to bigbearevents.net and see when we are due here next.